Welcome to Drips News, your source for up-to-the-minute financial and political analysis. Today, we'll dissect the market's turbulent reaction to tariff threats, explore the bourbon industry's trade woes, and examine the Education Department's massive restructuring. Plus, we'll cover Trump's tariff defense, Ford's trade fight, and a potential turning point in the Ukraine conflict. Stay informed, stay ahead. Follow us online for real-time updates. Wall Street endured a volatile Tuesday, with major indexes closing in the red and stoking economic anxieties. The S&P 500 edged closer to correction territory, while the Dow Jones plunged nearly 500 points. President Trump's tariff threat against Canada, though later withdrawn, amplified existing market unease. Further dampening spirits, the airline sector issued demand warnings, citing slowing bookings and lingering concerns from the American Airlines mid-air collision. This confluence of negative factors underscores the market's vulnerability to economic indicators and geopolitical events, setting a somber tone for investors. But will the turbulence continue, or is it an opportunity? The U.S.-Canada trade feud is hitting America's bourbon industry hard. Retaliatory tariffs from Canada are pulling U.S. bourbon from shelves, costing Michter's distillery alone $115,000 in canceled orders. These tariffs are a response to U.S. levies on Canadian goods, with the threat of doubled tariffs escalating the situation. The bourbon industry, a $9 billion contributor to Kentucky's economy, is deeply concerned. Distillers are hoping for a resolution to ease tariffs and restore trade flow, highlighting the broader economic risks for both nations. How much longer can the industry withstand this trade war? The Education Department is slashing its workforce by over 1,300 positions, nearly half its employees, to streamline operations, also terminating office leases nationwide. Secretary Linda McMahon claims the cuts target redundant teams, freeing resources for students, parents, and teachers, aiming to improve the education system. Critical units like federal student aid and civil rights investigators will be spared. Affected employees receive 90 days' notice with full pay and benefits plus severance. This drastic restructuring, spearheaded by the Trump administration, raises questions about the future of the department itself. Is this efficiency or a dismantling of vital programs? Amidst escalating market jitters, former President Trump defended his tariff policies, predicting unprecedented growth despite recent volatility. His remarks followed a day of market turmoil triggered by his tariff threats. Trump's aggressive trade stance and frequent tariff announcements are unsettling markets and drawing criticism, even from allies. Business leaders report Trump offered no new insights on his tariff plans, while the White House blamed the Biden administration for economic woes. However, a growing chorus of Republicans, executives, and economists warn that Trump's tactics could cripple the fragile U.S. economy, a warning that is not falling on deaf ears. Will his gamble pay off, or will it backfire? Ontario Premier Doug Ford is stepping up as a vocal opponent of Trump's America First trade policy. He's actively using U.S. cable news to denounce U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods, fiercely defending Canada's sovereignty against suggestions of becoming the 51st state. Ford's political roots run deep, with a family legacy in Ontario politics. He followed in the footsteps of his brother, Rob Ford, a controversial figure whose mayorship was marred by scandal. Now, Doug Ford is carrying the torch, passionately championing Canada's interests against what he sees as unfair U.S. trade practices. Is he a David fighting a Goliath, or is he playing a losing hand? A potential breakthrough in the Ukraine conflict. Ukraine has agreed to a U.S.-brokered 30-day ceasefire, covering the entire front line. Zelensky is urging the U.S. to convince Russia to agree, and the U.S. has pledged to resume intelligence sharing and security assistance. Secretary Rubio emphasizes that the onus is now on Russia to de-escalate. Trump welcomes the news and plans to discuss the plan with Putin. A joint statement highlights Ukraine's willingness to accept the ceasefire, contingent on Russian reciprocity. Zelensky outlines key conditions: cessation of hostilities, prisoner release, and the return of Ukrainian children. The next few days are critical. Will Russia agree and pave the way for lasting peace, or is this just a fleeting moment of hope? Hope flickers for a 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine, yet the road to lasting peace is fraught with obstacles. While the idea of a truce is tempting after immense losses, Russia's history of manipulation warrants skepticism. Ukraine's desire to reclaim lost territory clashes with the potential for a frozen conflict, and the brutal nature of the war breeds distrust. Putin seeks to portray Zelensky as the obstacle to peace. A complete ceasefire across all front lines for a month is a monumental undertaking, as years of intense combat have created a volatile environment where accidental incidents could reignite the conflict. The coming steps and management of this potential pause will dictate the war's ultimate trajectory. Can diplomacy overcome these challenges, or is the ceasefire destined to fail? Former President Trump has escalated trade tensions, imposing a sweeping 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports into the U.S., potentially impacting prices for American consumers and industries. This aims to address trade imbalances and boost domestic manufacturing. While initially threatening to double tariffs on Canada, Trump settled on the 25% levy for all countries. This decision followed discussions with Ontario Premier Doug Ford. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese criticized the tariffs as unjustified, but confirmed Australia will not impose reciprocal levies. Trump's first administration steel tariffs prompted importers to seek alternative sources. While the Biden administration had provided exceptions for U.S. allies, Trump's latest action eliminates these, applying the tariff universe. That's all for today's Drips News, but don't go anywhere. The financial world never sleeps. Stay tuned for more breaking stories, expert analysis, and market-moving insights. And remember, keep those investments flowing. See you next time.